What's happening, my beautiful people? My name is Mike LaBelle, and today, my friends, we've got some quality. One of the most frequently asked questions. I'm in gold. How do I get to elite? What is the difference between gold players, elite players, consistency, results? Everybody's been grinding team of the season. If you want this video and more videos that are similar to this, drop a like. Just right off the rip, because this can easily become a part 2 or a part 3, or I can start to analyze some of the different ways that you're going to separate ability. You're going to increase your results. Some of this also comes down to your commitment to taking advantage of the meta. Most effective tactics available. And in the comments, you're going to let me know what you think separates players that are trying to move into the elite ladder or even later stages, top 100. You want to get yourself into qualifiers. We'll talk about everything. And I do have one disclaimer. I have not watched any other YouTubers that have made a video similar to this one. I know it's a popular topic, but here, Dirty Mike Incorporated, we originate, we innovate, and we do things our own way. Plain and simple. And I want to have my own opinion. So if things align, that means great minds think alike. We're on the same page. If not so much, then you got some new information. And I'm looking forward to those comments because I have a feeling there's going to be some different specific tactics or adjustments or gameplay functions that everyone's going to want more details regarding. Are we on the same page? We don't conform. We don't collude. Welcome to Dirty Mike. Stamp it! This year, I've been mostly an Elite 1 Plus player. However, during Team of the Season, I did run into so many different connectivity concerns or issues. To go with, I'm not committed to playing the game where I'm parking the bus. We're not playing on low depth. I'm not switching into extra defensive formations. I believe that could easily result in a few more wins here and there. I just wasn't on that page. I'm playing for fun. I'm not competing. I want to go forward. I want to be active. I want to manually defend. I want to put pressure on my opposition. And it does begin with your squad building. And there's a few different levels here. There are elite players through and through, which is someone like myself. My worst weekend league this year, I think, was 24 wins. Worst. And within that category, there's also the guys that are on the cusp of potentially being Elite 1 or knocking on the door of being top 100. And the details are so fine, especially in FIFA 20. When you analyze gold players who are also attempting to get into elite, you still got that tier system, but you often have more adjustments that you can improve on in order to put yourself into an ideal position, make yourself a candidate to start becoming elite on elite on elite and building up that consistency. And I do want to start out by saying, if you don't play all 30 games, you just stop when you get to gold 3 or gold 2. Even if you don't have a chance of moving up to elite, play those extra games. See what the competition is doing. You need to get repetition. You might not want to hear that, but it is what it is. Why are we looking at my squad, you ask? Well, this is where it all begins. And you can learn a lot about squad building when you go into matches and you're going up against your opposition, and also with your own personal preference of play style. Let me switch this into the 4-4-2 because that's what I've been primarily playing, so you get the entire picture. Let me paint something. Picasso Mike. 4-4-2. Defense. Fullbacks, they have to be able to push the ball forward. I would not recommend going with 2 big fullbacks. And I'm saying this because when you're building a squad, it's important. And then also, what formation are you playing? How often are you going to use those fullbacks? For me, I know they're never going to score, but I definitely need them to be outlets for the wingers. If they can't make those passes to either of my wingers, we've got a real problem. We've got an issue. We've got a concern. We have a weakness. Center backs. At least one of them needs to be a bruiser. Big body. Large and in charge. You want this presence? I'm giving you all of it. I'm going to lean into those challenges. A true gladiator. In this case, I have Virgil van Dijk. And that's intimidating for my opposition. They say, not going to beat 99 Virgil. Who, on a side note, I did not feel a big increase between his 99 and his 90 overall. Unrelated to this video. Ramos. Perfect partner in crime. He's agile. If you play with a lot of pressure, it doesn't get much better. Cooking. Now, in the midfield, I've been enjoying this balanced approach where I have 2 center mids that are able to be true box to box. They're in the ring. They play defense. They play offense, but it makes it easier for you to find lanes of space offensively, because the issue this year is not defending. It's, can you score goals versus top tier competition? Are you going to be able to beat guys around the edge of the box? And I can tell you right now, De Jong's my more attacking of the center mids, and he always gets 10 goals, 12 goals, 15 goals every single weekend league. He also provides. He's going to step into that space, and it's kind of intimidating. Now, we have an untradeable Fekir, which makes it easier, but he's qualified to be a winger, and he can do 2 different things. Because he has that strength, you can use him to chase back as a more defensive player. He can also get in behind as an outlet, and his touches are very precise. He's a small guy that has that type of build where the touches are going to end up being precise, and he's outside of the boot shot. Whatever they classify it as. Outside foot shot. Crucial. Maybe even mandatory at the higher levels if you're not going to have a perfect weak foot, or not even a 4-star in this case. But Fekir can line it up. It still gives you that swerve, that knuckle, that movement. Mbappe, going to push the cushion. And because I've chosen to use Griezmann, I no longer can play Mbappe up top. Because Griezmann's not qualified in the same way. He would lose some of his status if you play him as a winger. He wouldn't be as active. However, Mbappe doesn't have that issue. Had 20 assists for me this past weekend league. And then Messi, you want him in the attack. You want him in the middle of the pitch. It's wasted to have a 99 overall Messi, whether it's team of the season or team of the year, and not play him centrally. Do not put him on the wings. I want to talk about balance. So where am I going to have certain positive plays and certain negatives? And this is why you have to build your team in a smart manner. 5-star weak foot with Griezmann. It's going to add additional creativity when I'm looking to take shots. A lot of people have trouble adjusting to getting used to Griezmann having that 5-star weak foot. Then you have the creator, the maestro Messi, 4-4. And my opponents know right away, I don't have a physical player. No surprises. When you look at the wingers, you're analyzing Mbappe as you're getting behind. He's going to put that pressure. I feel that Fekir is going to sit in a little bit more. Probably not going to be a stat room stuffer the same way. Also in the midfield, you're probably going to assume that I'm playing aggressively. The box-to-box midfield movement doesn't work as well if you're going to play passively. If you're playing passive, you want some big bodies here. Get you a Rude Hullet, a Vieira, Petit, Bakayoko even. Get you someone with some size, sits on the back line. The same can be said defensively. Instead of having a quick center back or just defenders in general, if you play drop back or overload ball side, I'm not co-signing this. You can get away with using bigger players because there's not going to be a counterattack. Everybody just runs back full speed and they sit there. The point I'm trying to make is that you need to understand what you need for success, and that deals with your gameplay, how aggressive you play, how passive you play, quickly, slowly. Having balance will always be massive, and having the players that also perform in FIFA combined with the right balance will give you better results. Actually, the players, the chemistry, the movement, the flow, the rhythm as a collective. Next subject, what separates gold from elite? Gold players, they play the game. Elite players, they play the matchups. I'll give you a few examples. You could quiz me right now. I know every single player in the game that is a weapon, that has any levels of regularity. I know their weak foot, I know their skill moves, I know their dominant foot, I often know their traits and just key elements, and I know this instinctively, which then allows me on the defensive end to take chances, to force my opponent to a lower percentage move. Offensively, how to set up my players that maybe have some drawbacks. You want to place yourself in advantageous positions on the virtual pitch. Constantly. Reoccurring. Just makes the game easier. And FIFA is still about the intangibles, the basics, simplicity. If you don't have that mastered, it doesn't matter if you can do skill moves. It doesn't matter if you have this beautiful tiki-taka. It doesn't matter how well you micromanage players if you can't bring everything together. Just to reiterate, player tendencies, the actual in-game players. What are their physical stats? How much pace does this guy actually have? When you can shove him, when you can push, when you can pull. If you want to improve your result, not only know your players and your bench and the chemistry styles that go with them, but you're going to need to know the top 100 or top 200 players that are constantly used, where you don't have to look them up. It's been a while since we've done clip breakdowns, analyzing classic freeze frames. This is one of those ways you're going to separate yourself right here, right now. And I encourage you to review your own gameplay. We're going to talk about shot selection and being efficient. One of the biggest differences between pro players or elite players is when they choose to shoot, as you can see in this freeze frame, and when they choose to maybe have an extra step, an extra skill move. Patience is a virtue. Don't rush. In this position, I have Johan Cruyff. I could probably shoot on the near post, but I know that that's not as likely to go in, and I'm not in the game of drawing corner kicks. So I go for an additional skill move in order to give me a sure thing. Right there. After I have resurfaced, I've got two choices here. I can make the pass or I'm going to shoot on the near post. In this case, I'm feeling that free flow. I'm going to score on the near post. The point is you need that extra touch. In FIFA 20, we have too many AI blocks. It's difficult to create chances. So once you get an opportunity, you have to convert. And part of being clinical is waiting for the perfect time to shoot or the perfect time to make that extra pass. Speed it up. Near post. This is going to be a clip clinic. We're not done. I'm going to give you all a lot of clips. Similar again to Cruyff right here. 1v1. Manual defending. Most players are looking to shoot. Elite players, they know they got to beat this man. I think it's Maldini that we're going up against. We got to cook. We got to give him something. You can pick the skill move, something quick execution, fake shot, maybe a ball roll. In my case, I went really fancy. And that's why I had a great reaction. Just you get a little two-touch there and the finish, but you got to challenge him. It doesn't matter if I create chances if I don't convert those chances. We are not done with Cruyff. More highlights. This is a good weekend from here. I really like this example. So I've already beat the defender. We have a lot of space to work with. The goalkeeper's off his defensive line, and then I have to make a decision. How do I want to finish this 1v1? So I've gone with a little touch of finesse. And if I hit the power on the near post, could it still go in? Yes. But it's all about trying to make sure you shape your body. Watch how I position with Cruyff here. Near post, you tap it home. Gorgeous. Onslaught of Cruyff. This one, we might just be bragging. We get a through ball here. I see the manual defense. I take a 50-50. And even with skill moves, you want to make sure that you get a good trade of risk to reward. So when I use this fake shot, if I beat that center back, at least I know I got a 1v1. Coasted out of the picture. Here we go. 2v1. I don't like my angle for the pass. Straight up, not a big fan. This is a hard pass to make. It's difficult. I could shoot early on the near post, but I'm looking at Ter Stegen's positioning. Not really a fan. I didn't think it was a sure thing. He looked like he was covering that near post. Maybe I'm going to showboat a tad bit. Ball roll. Defender goes down. Perfect. And because of that animation, I really can't pass this across. I've lost that and the goalkeeper's coming out. So I know quickly, instinctively in this position, all right, I beat the center back, but I can't make the pass. And because the goalkeeper's coming out, if I make a pass in the air, it's likely that he gets a hand on it. So I got to challenge the goalkeeper. And then we start walking, dribble, 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 and look at that finish. This was one of my favorite goals from the weekend, and it seems very simple, and I told you, it's all about simplicity. You see Havertz making a run. Cruyff is going to have this splitting pass. I mean, extra precise, but the job's not done yet. We still have to beat a defender. Most of you take a sidestep and you shoot. That's fine. Can it still go in? Yes, but we want to make sure we're as efficient as possible. We're not aiming for 50-50s, 60-40s, even 70-30s. I really want a 9 out of 10. That's what I'm trying to replicate in FIFA. That's how people are always getting 23, 25, 27 win. Watch. Do you see the dummy? And you got to keep it on his dominant foot. It's so damn pretty. Easy on the eyes. I'm not trying to upsell you on all these skills and the extra stuff. I just want to make sure that you take that touch, that you line yourself up. You give yourself a chance to be successful. I got out of my seat when this happened live on stream. I appreciate a good dummy. Underutilized skill or maneuver. What does the dummy count as? We're not done with shot selection. Havertz, once again, he's loose. I've got players catching up to me. I know that I can't necessarily hold him off, or it's not my best move. I probably don't have another dribble in me against Varane. And I'm realizing this because I understand squad building and matchups. First 2 points we talked about. Havertz pulls it back, and then I got to shoot with his right foot, but I'm now in bread and butter zone. Watch it back. Here we go. Havertz, free. I'm getting caught. The ball roll opens up the lane. We convert. And that's just because I know Havertz isn't someone who has that extra gear that he can kind of kick into. This goal is just too good not to show. You're going to get every little extra piece of razzle dazzle. And did I mention that I like to have that in my arsenal? I want a little swag when I play. I'm telling you right now, I'm not making excuses. I would have easily 27, 28 wins every single weekend during team of the season if I decided to sit back and run the 4-2-3-1. I just didn't want to. Havertz, drag back. You see the manual switch. It tells you it's time. You want to throw in something extra? You want to give the people something to cheer about? You want the rage quit? Rainbow Flick 101. Last clip when we're looking at shot selection and being efficient. I just wanted to show you guys a bunch of different variations. Yes, you see the drag back, but it's not about the drag back. I can't score from here, and so many of you think you can. Long shooting in FIFA 20 is not really a thing. The AI steps in front, goalkeepers make saves. I want to score when I shoot, so I got to take a chance sometime. Right here, I'm going to take that 50-50. I go for the running fake shot, which tells me two things. If it works, number one, I'm either going to have a shooting angle. Number two, I'm probably going to have a pass across angle. If you see on screen, we've got another player in the box. There's going to be something that opens up because I have additional time now. And if he makes a tackle, decent chance I get a corner kick. All of these are positives really in the grand scheme. That's how you got to think about FIFA. Percentage play. There it is. We beat that up. Full speed. No cuts, no edits. Lautaro. Seen this with Dybala. Drag back, the fake shot. There's my angle. Butter. We already discussed making sure that you're shooting from the most efficient area on the pitch. Well, now we're talking about making that extra pass. A little bit sweaty. We're going to square it across, but we already have enough friends. You might lose some friends going for these types of goals, but you're going to win more games. We still have the setup there. We just need automatic. I can't drive a stick. Here we go. Lays it off. Fekir. That's that outside of the boot trade I was talking about. More of the same. Lautaro. And we have a lot of examples. Look how hard I have to work for this chance. Once we get in here, though, I see the main man. Nobody's really moving. I can make a whole video dedicated to offensive awareness or positioning and how at times it just feels non-existent or just not smart. You would never do this in real life where you stand behind a player. And we're going to use something that's been described as the double tap. So on your PlayStation controller, you would double tap the X button, the pass button, and it does a little droopy pass, a little lob pass. It's a mini lob. And it allows you to sometimes squeeze passes, and it's not always the most efficient. A lot of people try to upsell it as if it's a savior to FIFA in terms of being able to make some of these passes. That's not true. There's times you want to keep it on the ground. Other times you want to do a low driven. And then there's the little flippity flap pass, whatever we want to classify this as. That's what we do. Wide open. Your mama's going to score this. We could really call this the De Jong goal. On screen, you see De Jong. Indicator is on. The pass has already been made. He's a late trailer. And the majority of the goals that I score with De Jong are something like this. Rinse, wash, repeat. Always fashionably late. Shows up to the party. And then he beats it up. Finishes the 1v1. Does your job. The point that I'm trying to stress is that you should always look for this as the first option. This is even more efficient than when you have to shoot on a 1v1 because this is automatic. Automatic. Look at the volley. I'll run that back. De Jong started the build-up. Goes to the ball. We switch the pitch. Lautaro. We've got numbers right here. I could be shooting right here. Am I able to score from this position? Going direct? Absolutely. But instead of that 9 out of 10, I now have a 10 out of 10 chance. And I decided to put this in the air with a chip through ball solely because I know it's not possible for anyone to intervene. No one on the pitch can track back here or can potentially block this finish for De Jong. The only way we miss here is if De Jong can't shoot in a straight line. Chip through ball. The legend of De Jong. Look at this footwork here, though. Hold him off, holding him off, holding him off. And all we're doing is looking for that pass across. While I'm holding players off, I'm tight roping. I'm saying, somebody, give me a little bit of space. Give me a window. Right there. Once I hit that drag back, window has opened up. You already see De Jong's waiting for it. If you watch baseball, he's almost like a catcher. He's like, come on, give it to me. And then you beat it up on the near post. And it doesn't matter that he's a 3-star weak foot. He could also use the outside of the boot. I just want y'all to have multiple variations and examples. Quaresma's working. I love the skills. Cruyff's not going to miss. But check out Cruyff's positioning, okay? This is what I was talking about where the awareness or just being on your toes on the offensive end does not measure to the defensive side of things. I might make a video talking about gameplay improvements for FIFA 21. So Quaresma does all the work, but look at him. He's just standing there. Like, at least be active. Be on your feet. If you grew up playing football, they teach you that to be ready for your moment. It's a team game. Active feet definitely eat. He's just standing there. I want him to be like a dog that's ready for his daily walk. I don't know if that's a good example, but you're not going to miss. That's the point. That's the point. You look for this. You want to increase your results? You look for this. One more for good measure. Chucky Lozano. And in situations like this where you don't have a clear pass, this is when the double tap becomes more valuable, more viable, more efficient. And that's a word I like to keep using because that's what this is all about. So you double tap it up and you let Cruyff try to get on the end of it. Pulling back some FIFA 19 360 shooting action. We gave you examples, bringing back the breakdown board. And another point that I want to throw into the mixer if you want to improve your results, and I can make a dedicated video to this, so if you want this, drop a like, say something in the comment. The easiest way to see the difference, to compare and contrast, watch my live streams and then watch your gameplay. This section is all about micro-managing and player switching. And this is one of the biggest differences that I see, massive, between gold players and elite players, is how well they use the right analog stick to switch players. If you aren't using the right analog stick, you're not even near your potential. Your anticipation, it's not there. You haven't even started to hit your upward slope, your momentum, your trend. And I'm not telling you to quit cold turkey. So if you've never used the right analog stick or you really struggle with it, easy rule of thumb. If you're making player switches and they're right next to each other, you can use L1. If you're going to try to switch to anticipate things that are happening on the other side of the pitch, maybe with your defensive back line, use the right analog stick. And as you get better at switching with that right analog, start getting rid of the L1 trigger. You don't need it. You need to have a mastery of micromanaging. And you might say, well, maybe next year's going to be different. No, this is a staple. Since the introduction of right analog player switching, it's a necessity, and people often ask me, well, do you ever make mistakes? Do you ever switch to the wrong player? Sure, that happens to everyone, and it gets more difficult when you're dealing with delay or lag, or maybe you're just having an off day, you're not playing your best FIFA. You have to battle through that. There's gonna be a learning curve. You're playing against your opponent. He's going to adjust to you. He's gonna switch tactics. He's gonna adjust the speed of play. He sees if you're stepping, if you're sitting back, especially at the upper levels. And this is why we're talking about beating elite players or getting to that elite stage. You got to beat all the gold players then. I'll help you play the percentages. That's the game that I love. My defense is premium quality every single year. And it's a big reason that I've been good at FIFA for now 15 years. Top tier. And I'm not saying that to gloat or to brag, but it's because of a mastery of many of the intangibles. Your shape, your awareness, your commitment to learning how to finish at the highest rate possible. Commitment to being able to pressure. Commitment to manual defending, which I wish wish was more effective in FIFA 20. Please bring that back in FIFA 21 EA, or get rid of some of the drop back. Get rid of overload ball side, because if that was adjusted in this year's title, we would be talking about this game completely different. That might be an unpopular opinion, but if everybody was playing on 3, 4, 5 depth as a minimum, and they didn't have drop back, didn't have overload ball side, there's so much space to work with. Even with the AI assistance on the defensive end, you would still have no issues on the offensive end being able to get in behind, having 1v1, having open players available on the virtual pitch. And that was proven. Fnatic ran a tournament, I think it was last weekend or the previous weekend, and they had rules set in place. And we saw a lot of goals. 8-6, 7-5, 9-8. These scorelines, pretty uncommon when we're looking at global series. Just an observation. Thanks again for watching. Make sure to drop a like if you want more content that is in regards to how to improve in FIFA, how to jump between different tiers or different levels. And of course, in the comments, and I'm kind of expecting a lot of discussion here, if you have any questions regarding some of the different ways of improving your results that I went over in this video, put that down below. And also, if you want me to focus on a certain element of FIFA, that's why we have the section. We got that back and forth. I appreciate you guys. I have a lot more content coming out for you ASAP.